All right, it's time. Here we go. Fanatics Fest, how you doing? You got to see what's back there. It's incredible. I have a question for you first. If we were to do quarterback Mount Rushmore all time, who's on it? Yell it out. Okay. Joe Montana, I've heard of him. Tom Brady, he was here yesterday. Jayden Daniels. If it was based on rookie years, he's George Washington on Mount Rushmore. Did somebody say Dan Marino? This guy's got the jersey right here. Let's do this. No more waiting around. This is Fanatics Fest. This is for you guys. First of all, I love this woman who's about to come out right now. Is one of the coolest, nicest people you will ever talk to, and maybe that's why Esquire magazine said about her, the world's best athletes will tell her everything. That is a lot to live up to, and you're about to find out why she is totally game. Please welcome my favorite Taylor, Taylor Rooks. Bring her out, come on. Louder, louder, Fanatics Fest. Here we go.
Hello. Thank you for that, my dear. What a lively bunch. How are we feeling out there, Fanatics Fest? We good? I am so incredibly excited to be back here with you all, but I have a question. Make some noise if you really missed the NFL season. Well, luckily, we are 75 days out from the first game, but today I have a real treat for your football fix. Today, we are talking about greatness at the quarterback position. We've assembled a panel featuring one of the most exciting stars in the league, plus two absolute legends, icons, and giants of the game. So let's kick this thing off. What do you say? Let's do it. All right. First up, this guy is a two-time NFL MVP award winner. He owns 4 Super Bowl rings and was MVP in 3 of them. He was undefeated in the Super Bowl. He threw the pass on the play that is known as the catch. And he is the author of 31 fourth-quarter comebacks, a Hall of Famer, number 16 with the San Francisco 49ers, the one and only Joe Montana. I promised you a legend. All right, next up. This man's 1984 season was one of the most impressive years that we have ever seen in this game. And you know, it's really not a passing record if this guy didn't set it. He's a Hall of Famer, an MVP, and listen to this mind-blowing fact. If you took all the passes that he completed over the course of his 17-year career and you lined them up end to end, it would extend 35 miles. So forget yards. This guy passed for 35 miles. Give it up for Dan the Man, Dan Marino.
Hey, like.
All right, and last but certainly not least, I see a lot of Commanders jerseys in this crowd. Now, last year, this man told the world, I have arrived and I'm here to stay. He led the Washington Commanders to just 1 win from the Super Bowl. He's one of the most exciting players in the game today. The 2023 Heisman Trophy winner, the 2024 NFL Rookie of the Year. Y'all know the name, Jayden Daniels. How y'all doing? Feeling good?
Hello.
Jayden, what's it like? We've got the Commanders contingent right here for you.
Man, shout out to y'all, man. I love y'all.
I mean, I just have to take a moment to soak this in. We have the past, we have the present, such a powerhouse panel. But I want to set the stage here. Of course, we've got 2 guys who are among the greatest to ever play the position, and 1 guy here who has prepared his whole life to make it to that same mountaintop. So I want to start by asking each of you what it means to be a quarterback and the pride that you take in your position. I'll start with you, Joe.
It's the most exciting thing in the world. If I really wish, I always say this, I wish everyone could take one Sunday and go out and play the position one day, win or lose, ups and downs, the things you go through, just the pure excitement of having the ball in your hand every play. There's nothing like it. I can't. I've tried for years and years since I retired to try to find something that brings the same amount of joy and excitement to my life, other than my kids and my wife. But there's just nothing that compares to being a quarterback in the NFL. And no matter how, ups and downs, like I said, good and bad, they'll all say the same thing. They can't wait for Sunday. And it's just the most fun they've ever had.
Yeah.
JoJo, very true, brother. Very true. And you're hearing from the bad boy right here. That man knows what he's talking about. And for me, I tell people all the time that without a doubt, it's the hardest position to play in all sports, in team sports, and yeah, even individual sports. And because you have to deal with so much as far as teammates, the pressure of playing, learning game plans, being so committed. I mean, to me, and then just the satisfaction of going into a game plan, dealing with your players and all the things that you do, and then you have one game Sunday at 1 o'clock or whatever it be, Monday night, whatever it is, and you get to go out and prove yourself, and you do it all together. That's the greatest feeling in the world. And there's nothing more special than throwing a special pass, and it's what you worked on all week, and it works, and it's perfect, and you're like, man, that's why I worked so hard on that. But there is no doubt it's the hardest position to play in all of football, and that's why it takes special guys, special people to play that position. And this is one of them right there.
Yeah.
Jayden, I see a big smile across your face as they describe just what it is like to be there under center. Can you even describe the feeling? Is there anything even comparable to it?
Man, I think they hit it on the head. Just the whole week, everybody's looking at you. You're the one that's going to leading them. You're the one that's making the plays. You got to get the checks. And like they said, it's the hardest position in sports. So I agree with them. But when it's a game on the line, you're in the Super Bowl, like how Joe and them was, and you got a last drive to go win a game, and everything's on your back, man, there's nothing more satisfying than that.
There's obviously so many accolades up here on this stage, but Joe, I have heard you in so many different interviews say that the lad next to you, Dan Marino, was the greatest quarterback to ever play.
Yeah.
And some of you all agree, right?
Joe.
No, and I say that in true honesty. It's one of the things that everybody says, well, what's it like to play against so-and-so or so-and-so? I go, I don't really play against them. And as a opposite quarterback, once you come off the field, you're dealing with coaches and what's going to happen next. But I tried to do that as fast as I could playing against Danny. He's one of those guys that, as an opposing quarterback, you actually get up off the bench and go watch him perform, even though he's the enemy of that day. we're the best of friends, but he is absolute one of the best I've ever seen. I cannot imagine Danny playing today where he knew he wasn't going to get hit. The accuracy of this guy, the balls that he threw, the receivers are different back then. God help his guys. They weren't the biggest, but he was spreading the ball like you've never seen before. And like I said, he was one of the most fun quarterbacks I've ever seen to watch all the time.
Joe, thank you. That's very, that's humbling coming from, Mr. Montana. Like I said, we have been friends a long time, and it's very humbling. And I feel like I was one of the top players, but this guy, quarterback, winning 4 Super Bowls, not losing, all the things he did, in my opinion, he's the best that ever played. Well, Tom Brady was pretty good. Yeah, Tom Brady. He just had deflated balls. He was using. And I tried it out, and it actually works.
Well, nobody told me, or I would have tried it too. We might have beat Buffalo in Buffalo back then.
I love it. Now, as we talk about the great QBs, of course, Jayden is heading into his second year. He had, by all measures, an absolutely outstanding year one. Before I ask you a question, though, I would love to know what you all saw from Jayden his rookie season.
Well, first of all, I mean, if you want me to answer first, I mean, just I would say not the patience, but just the overall demeanor of a young guy that comes in, and as a rookie I did pretty well, and he did way better than we did, and I mean that's it, the demeanor and how you handle things, and just the athleticism and what he's been able to do, and you have all the futures right there, man, and it's he's a special player. And you got Doug Williams around you a little bit. We love Doug, I mean, I love Doug, and I know Joe does too. So he's around a lot. Use him as much as you can.
Yeah, like Danny said, very special player. And coming in and playing at the level he played this early in his career is really fun to watch. Knowing how difficult that is to get done on a week-to-week basis, and everybody's aiming for you when you start having success, and makes it even more difficult. And the things that he was able to do and bring the level of team up to get him almost to the Super Bowl in that year was just, like I said, that for me it's fun to watch quarterbacks like that. I just wish I could run like that. But I'm a little bit older. I can't run at all.
You
but
can
it
run.
was a lot
I
of
couldn't
fun.
run at all. I mean, I had minus yards rushing in my NFL career for 17 years. No, actually, it wasn't minus, but it was only 87. That's hard to do. You have to try to do that.
You got any tips, Jayden?
I think it's past their generation and era, so leave that to us.
You, of course, are a student of the game. So do you ever look at QBs from the past? What fascinates you about their game in that era? You hear them saying how great it would be to play with these big receivers, the very QB-friendly rule changes, but what do you like about that era?
Yeah, of course I did. My dad put me on to Joe Montana. He grew up a 49ers fan. He showed me all these guys. So when I told him I want to play the position, this is kind of like, he was like, you got to model your game after this era. Obviously, they took a lot harder hits than I did. And obviously, the rule change is different. But just the leadership and, throwing for that many yards back in that heyday, shout out to you guys that paved the way for quarterbacks like me now to go out there and flourish.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
So as he gears up for year two, I would love to chat about you all's respective second seasons. Dan, what do you remember most about 1984?
Oh, and 84 is when we went to the Super Bowl. We played Joe and them, and they kicked our ass. And but what I remember that a lot. But
does anyone else in here remember that?
Yeah, they remember it too. We'll forget about it now. But that year we just with Duper and Clayton, and I had a veteran group. And Nat Moore, Jimmy Seffler, had a lot of great receivers, cats that were around a while, and then we had these young guys. And that combination, and just how Coach Shula was one to adjust to his talent level and who he had, and it was all about let's roll and let's throw it. And I do remember though at the end of the year they start talking about us certain records that we could break, and never really thought about it all year. But the reason why we were able to break some of those records is because we had to compete all the way through. We had to play to win games all the way to the last game of the year to keep home field advantage, right? So it was like important yards and important touchdowns and important wins, and to me I'm proud of that part of it, because a lot of times, guys were just throwing for yards, and I did it too. I did it, but that year that's kind of what I felt about it. Yeah.
Joe, what do you remember about your second year? What was that defined by?
Well, we went from 2-14 to 6-10, so we still weren't very good. I was actually starting to get a little bit more playing time. I really didn't become a starter until my third year. And we were fortunate because we had a good draft, and we brought on 3 defensive backs and brought in another one where we traded for, and which really kind of took our defense to another level. And that's really what made the change from second year to the third. But our second year I still remember. I know there's some Cowboy fans out there, but we were playing the Cowboys in Dallas, and Steve DeBerg literally was getting his ass kicked. I mean, they were beating the dog out of him. So Bill Walsh was starting to substitute late in the game, and as Bill was turning like this, looking around. I was right behind him like this, going. And finally he saw me and he said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to put you in there." I said, "Oh, thank you."
But when you did get in, you made the impact. So for you, what I love the most, Dan, as you talk about that second year, it was the beginning of these very elevated expectations. You took the team to the Super Bowl. Everybody had all eyes on Dan Marino. And it's a very similar moment for you right now, Jayden. People have seen what you did in your rookie year, and now what they expect from you is completely different. How are you dealing with elevated expectations, and what would you say about how you attack that and still stay true to yourself?
Yeah, I think for me, just our organization does a really good job of, hey, just focus on now. And then my support system, last year was last year. What you did last year, you can't bring it over year 2. You got to keep working. And I just have that hunger in me to always want to get better. So I think that's a big thing. Is I don't want to be known as what I did my rookie year. I want to be known my second year, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah. Well, before you answer, Dan, I have to say, I think we all agree that was one of the greatest rookie seasons that we have ever seen for a quarterback.
Yep.
Oh, man. Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I know Jayden, so Jayden's going to be humble about that. But it is all I would talk about if I was Jayden Daniels. So I need to make sure you get that moment. Dan, how should he handle those expectations?
You know what? I really think the position calls for just maturity and understanding that you're going to work every day and you have teammates that you can rely on and just love what you're doing. Know the fact that you're going to be good at what you do and prepare and do all the things that you've done in the past. Just keep doing what you're doing and be a little smarter about running, and taking hits. That's all I would say to you, brother. That's all I'm going to say, bro. You play a long time. You don't need to take that many hits,
Did you have something to add there?
I'm right.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing that you try not to do is try to overthink and overdo. Like, I have to do more than I did last year. You just have to be yourself and know and believe in yourself. And yeah, you're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. You know it. And it's just how you react to them. And what happens is you let your teammates know that, hey, they always just said, hey, we never see you yelling at anyone. I go, and I need all those 10 guys out there, so I'm not going to yell at anyone. If we got a problem, we want to work with it. But for the most part, you just have to go out there and do what you've done and play as I say, we play a stupid game for a living, and we have a lot of fun at it. And when you're having fun at it, you'll be doing all the right things. But when you start trying to think and trying to force things to happen, one of the things Bill Walsh did for us was he never tried when we got behind. It wasn't like we needed to score right away. We were playing the Saints. We were down 35-3, I believe, or 13, late in the game, and he called us all up and said, hey, look, we're going back to our fundamental offense, fundamental defense. I just want to get out of here going like this by the end of this game. Well, we did, but we won 38-35, but not by trying new stuff. And that's, you don't have to go out and do extra and try to make things happen. Play the game and enjoy it, and it'll happen for you.
Be yourself.
Yeah. Joe, you absolutely embodied the Joe Cool mantra that reflected in how you approached the game mentally. You were always calm and cool in intense moments. In his 4 Super Bowl appearances, he never threw an interception. In 122 attempts,
crazy.
No
That's crazy.
interception. Before you even answer, Jayden, how wild is it to just hear that stat?
Hopefully one day I could do that too.
Commanders fans are loving hearing that. But you were just perfect under pressure. What was your relationship with pressure?
Well, I don't think, as a quarterback, you put pressure on yourself. You know, everybody says, did you feel the crowd? Do you feel this? Do you feel that? And you don't have to. I mean, you know what you can do, and you know what you're good at. And you just try to be within myself all the time. Everybody said, well, we see you laughing. And I'm going, well, yeah. As soon as you start to feel different, those other 10 guys that are out in the huddle with you, they know it right away. And then, oh, wow, he's nervous. Maybe I should be nervous. Where I'll make fun of you in a heartbeat. We're winning or losing, you do something stupid, I'm going to laugh at you. Or make fun of you while we're in the huddle. It doesn't matter. But I just think that pressure is something that we've dealt with since. When did you start playing football?
7.
Yeah.
Same
and so
thing.
and once you started playing as a quarterback, that's pressure enough. And you've dealt with it all your life. And, hey, it's just another game, right? And it'll come, it'll happen naturally. And I just had fun. As long as you're having fun, you don't think about the pressure.
You know, Jayden, I was reading an interview that you did, and someone asked you the last time that you were rattled on a football field. You said, when I was 6 or 7 during a flag football game. Yeah. Is that still the answer?
That is still the answer. That is still the answer.
How do you deal with, obviously, you go in your rookie season, you're in the NFL, but staying so even-keeled, you have such a poise about you. I'm curious if that is innate or if it's something that can be taught.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that's just how I was raised. And for me, it's like how Joe said, you know, it's go out there having fun. And football is fun for me no matter if you're making money, you're doing this, you're competing for championships. Still, at the end of the day, it's a game that we all play when we're kids. So it's still that passion, that joy that I have when I was 6 or 7 years old, just running around and just having fun with my friends in the backyard.
Now, Jayden, of course, was someone who came into the league and was just ready to go, guns a-blazing. But Joe Montana had a really great quote discussing kind of the lack of mental preparation that college quarterbacks have when they enter the league. Maybe not being able to fully read defenses or deviate from coaches' commands. What are you seeing there, Joe, and why is it important that these young quarterbacks learn how to do things on their own?
Yeah, I think one of the things you see in college football a lot, which drives me crazy, is that you see them standing there or all on the sideline, and then all of a sudden they're here, and then they turn over here, and they're telling them everything. And those are the guys I think that struggle most of the time because they're not actually learning how to read defenses, and that's a big part. These guys will tell you, if you can understand, you spend a lot of time watching video to learn and see the little things, because sometimes it just takes one little movement of a guy 6 inches, and you get it on a video, and then it might be the middle linebacker. It might be one of the defensive linemen, but all of a sudden when you get up there, you realize, uh-oh, he's in a different spot than it should be when I see it, and it tells you something. And it just takes a lot of mental preparation that way. And, you know, especially now, and the way defenses are now, a lot crazier than they were when we were playing. And they do all kind of crazy things. Because back then when we would run, I'd take off running and you get past the lineman, you don't worry about it. Now you got to worry about the lineman catching you too. But I just think that it's one of those things where I don't know how to describe it. But you just got to take it and go with it.
Yeah, and be able to take what the game gives you as well.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't try to make things. You just do what you can and make a mistake, do whatever. You just come back and be ready for the next. But you got to prepare yourself mentally, and that's the biggest thing.
Dan, you know, as we talk about this mental approach, something I remember you saying that helped your mind-body connection was jump roping. Tell me a little bit more about how jump roping helped Dan Marino be a great quarterback.
You should
Yeah.
see him skip in, right?
Yeah, I can skip it. I can actually do it now for about maybe 3 seconds. But, as I grew up, my dad, who was a truck driver, he wasn't a football coach. He coached me when pee-wees and stuff, but he at 8 years old, he gave me a jump rope, a leather jump rope. He says, I want you to jump rope as much as you can, and even when you're just hanging out with your friends, do it. And what it did was it put a mindset for me, like, okay, so why is he saying this? So because as a quarterback, you're in a small area. You have to keep your body and your feet and your mind all connected and still be looking at the secondary and all that. And I was like, man, this is kind of, as I grew older, I was like, this is a hell of a thing. This is actually does work. And so your mind, your body connects, and your feet, like in anything. If you're a defensive tackle or you're a left tackle or whatever it is, your feet, your mind, the connection there is critical, especially in the NFL, way the speed is. I thought that was genius way back when. I tell everybody I can, every young kid I see that wants to be an athlete or a quarterback or a wide receiver or whatever it may be, I tell them, get a jump rope and just do it whenever you can because it's so important for your body. Plus you actually get in pretty good shape too. It's not like it's, so that's how that kind of happened. Yeah.
I love that. See, you heard it from the best. Go out there and get those jump ropes, okay?
Leather with ball bearings in it.
So, of course, Dan used his jump roping. You've got some pretty cool virtual reality. Tell us how you implement VR to be a good quarterback. Did you all know that he uses VR to really get his reads and simulate the game? Yeah.
Yep. No, I know it's happening now. Yeah.
It's just completely different game, different times. And for me, it's a different way to get an edge and get ahead and feel prepared going into Sunday without having put physical stress on my body. So I don't have to go out there and put my cleats on, grab one of the equipment guys to try to throw 30 reps that I don't get during practice, because during the week you only probably hit half the plays, maybe less than that on the script, on the call sheet. So you got to be prepared for everything. And knowing my offensive coordinator, Cliff, he might call something that was put in from week 2. So it's just going out there and being prepared, and he does a great job. Me and him have a great relationship with communication and what I like, and this is what I feel comfortable with, because he knows that I put in the work, and he knows that I prepped that for the whole week, and I'm going to be ready to go.
You had some amazing plays last year, of course. My favorite was maybe the Hail Mary against Chicago. Anybody else agree? But I don't know, was that yours? Do you have one that really sticks out? I know you do.
I do. It's nothing but, I wouldn't say it's nothing but love, but shout out to them, obviously. But I would say being Philly at home. That was that last play. Yeah. It was just because how the game went. It was a great team that we're facing, great defense. I had thrown a pick the drive before, so I had another chance to go out there and make it up, and obviously that last play, be able to hit that pass to Jamison Crowder. So that's probably my favorite play of the season last year.
Yeah, so many great highlights there from Jayden Daniels. So speaking of highlight plays, you all know I gotta ask one question about the video that we've all seen a zillion times, the catch. All right, I need you to walk us through the catch from your vantage point. Mr. Montana, what were you seeing here?
Well, my receiver I was supposed to throw to fell down, and when he got up, he was covered, and Dwight is supposed to set a pick for him, basically. Well, picks are illegal, so he's supposed to kind of get in the way of the inside man so that
open in the flat.
And trying to get him in the flat. We'd scored on the play earlier in the game, and it just took Dwight forever to go. He finally realized, oh, I'm supposed to do this. I had to get to the back of the end zone and slide. And I tell him all the time. I go, you know what, Dwight? That was so ridiculous of what you did, man. You went up there, you kicked your legs up, put your hands up. I go, if that was a brother, man, that ball would have hit him right here in the chest. Man, you're a white guy, man. You can't. I know you can't jump, but you got to do all that, man, and make it. But no, he made a great catch, and
That's funny, man. That's funny.
One of my favorite parts too. I mean, so first off, any Cowboys fans in here? Well, the thing about that video is you kind of don't see Joe in any of the celebration shots with Dwight, because I think you went to go have some words with some Cowboys players. Why was that important to go do?
Oh, there was all kind of talk going on that whole game. Earlier in the game, one of the guys came in, it was in the middle of the third quarter. He knocked me down. I can't remember if he knocked me down or sacked me. And he said to me, "And I will be back." And I said, "Well, I hope so, because I was beginning to think you weren't in the game." So we get to the sideline, and I got knocked down. I didn't see the catch. It happened live, and one of the guys on the ground said, "Well, you just beat America's team." And I said, "Well, that's perfect. You can sit at home with the rest of America and watch us in the Super Bowl."
Woo! Spicy, I love it.
But there was so much talk going back and forth. We had beat the Cowboys earlier in the year, and they kept saying they had no respect. And there was another thing that happened I won't go into, but it was, we were having
talk.
fun.
I'll get it out of you backstage.
Probably one of the worst games I ever played in my life, but nobody remembers that. Because I threw a touchdown pass at the end to win, and so that's what counts.
That's all that mattered at the end there.
Winning erases all. All right, Dan, you and I got to go over the fake spike play. Any Jets fans in here?
I feel sorry for you.
Because I would say, Dan, I feel like that might have been the play that just broke the Jets. After that fake spike, things kind of went a little bit downhill. Tell me what was going through your head. Could you believe you pulled it off? Walk me through that moment.
So the crazy thing about that is I get a lot of credit for that, but I'm going to give credit to everybody. Remember Bernie Kosar? Remember Bunga? So this was kind of like his idea, and it's and we would practice it. You know, when you'd run the 2-minute drill and you do that stuff, we'd always do the fake spike just so the guys knew what to do, and it was like the perfect timing. And you know, I did it, so I'm taking full credit for it, but it was Bernie's idea, and you know, it was one of those things against the Jets, and you know, we were such rivalries to be able to do that at the end of a game, and we were losing. You know, it was pretty special. Yeah, I give Bernie credit for that one.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's really cool. One of the reasons I was so excited, obviously, to do this panel is just the amount of amazing football memories that you all have given the fans. Tell me about the relationship that you have with your fans, what it is like to be in Miami, to be in San Francisco, and just the bond you share with the faithful.
Who's going first?
Either one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, playing 17 years in the same place, Miami, coming in there, and the years that went by with mainly the same head coach most of the time, you build up relationships in the community, and you do, not only with the fans, with other people that you might business-wise, all those things, and hey, I've been blessed to be in the same place for 17 years, raise my family there, you know, my kids going to school there, all those things, and I'll be a Dolphin for life, and that'll never change, and yeah, and it's because of the fans, it's because of the community and the franchise, you know, believing in me for those years. Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe.
I think one of the things that we always think the most about is not just winning for your teammates, but winning for your fans. It's important. You feel that love every time you walk into your stadium. You feel that hate when you're in the opponent's stadium when it comes and goes, and it all means that while you try not to think about it when the game, as soon as the game gets going, you don't think about that part of it, but you know, when you're warming up and you're hearing things and the people in Chicago are throwing stuff at you as you're going back in the locker room, it's just a very special relationship that sometimes we don't always have the opportunity to be able to share it with the fans. And that's, I think a lot of the times just doing things like this allows you to be out and talk a little bit more other than just seeing your face out under a helmet, out on the field. You don't get a really chance to get to know the players much. And I think these kind of formats really help to do that. And we are able to show our appreciation to our fans. We're both in San Francisco and Kansas City for me, and around the rest of the country because they're all mixed around.
Yeah, I love that. Well, something I know that the Commanders fans right here are very excited about. Joe, close your ears. Debo is on the Commanders now.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. What can we expect from Debo?
He's
Oh,
a
Joe's face.
really good football player. I'm excited. I'm excited to work with him more in training camp. Obviously, off season was good, but now you just see what he's proven year in and year out, and I'm excited to throw him a little screen, and hopefully on the stat sheet it says a touchdown for 80 yards, and I didn't have to do any of the work. But I'm excited. He's a great person, great fit in the locker room, wide array. So. We're going to see, hopefully, a lot of touchdowns.
I love that. Did you want to chime in, Joe?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a loss for San Francisco, I think, for sure. And he has a great personality. He brings a lot with him when he comes. He comes to play. He brings attitude to the game, and it's fun to watch. He does a little bit of everything. He's a little fire plug, and he's tough to bring down. And fun to watch. Give him the ball, let him go, put him. He'll do anything you want him to do. You just all you have to do is ask. Man, like I said, I think it's a good for you, bad for us.
All right, amazing. As we close out, I'm just going to do a few rapid fire questions for the guys. All right, Dan, who was a player on opposing defenses that you would want to avoid at all costs? Because you stood tall against those 85 Bears.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty easy because for me, we played Buffalo so much. For all those years, I played against, Bruce Smith. And Bruce Smith was all-time sack leader, all that stuff, and the Hall of Famer. But he was always someone tough to deal with. You had to make sure, I played LT, he was an incredible player. I only played against him like 3 times. Joe played against him a lot more than I did. So 3 times in 17 years is not that much. Bruce Smith, I played against him twice a year, every year, sometimes in the playoffs. So I had to deal with him for a lot of years. So to me, the guy that I had to, worry about it was that, our left tackle, Richmond Webb, had to worry about him. You got to send an extra guy sometimes that way. So it's Bruce Smith.
Great answer. All right, Jayden, who is a cornerback from an opposing team that you just have the utmost respect for?
This year, Cunha's a good choice. But this year, I would probably say I'm excited to go against Pastor Tan.
Pastor Tan, he's a problem.
Defensive player of the year, so I'm excited for that matchup.
I love that.
And I played with his dad. He tells you how old I am.
All right, Joe, who was an opposing QB that you always wanted to outdo?
Anybody who played for the Cowboys.
Good answer.
Amazing. All right, and I'll close it out with this one for all of you because to do your job effectively, you got to have a good O-line. So tell me an offensive lineman that you owe your life to. Can be from any point of your career, college, pros, or even high school.
Me? Okay. So in college, I was blessed at Pitt because I had some great players, like a few Hall of Famers that were on my offensive line, like Jimbo Covert, Russ Grimm. If you guys remember, like Bill Fralick, and I used to play and not hit the ground. But when I got to Miami, there was one guy, he's a center. And he's the best center that ever played and maybe ever will. His name is Dwight Stevenson. And he's in the Hall of Fame. And that cat, and then you would ask Howie Long, you could ask any of them. And they'll tell you that that boy was the baddest center to ever play football. And he was perfect for me. And, right there, he's the center. He controls it.
Yeah, I love it. Shout out to him. What about you, Joe?
I think there was one guy that didn't get his due on our offensive line. There was a guard named John Ayers. He played left guard, and he was one of the guys that, we put on Lawrence Taylor most of the time. And they called him Buckets because he wasn't very big, but he was thick from his waist and legs down. And he just never, the other guys on the line eventually got their due, but he never did. And unfortunately, he passed away early. I would say John had gotten my biggest respect on that line.
Amazing. Love that for John. Absolutely. Jayden, close us out.
I'm going to go college. I'm going to go Will Campbell. And these guys aren't playing anymore, so I'm going to say the whole offensive line unit for the Washington Commanders.
Amazing. You all soak in this moment. Absolute legends, a superstar in the league right now.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much,
Thank you.
and thank you.